Hero though, the monument itself, allegedly by Sir Christopher Wren. No, not. By a gentleman called Robert Hooke, who far fewer people have heard of. But Hooke, I mean, you look at 17th century London and we had an embarrassment of polymath geniuses. We had Isaac Newton, we had Wren, we had Pepys, we had Hooke. It was just, it must have been quite an amazing time to be on. This is the time when the Royal Society was formed. Pepys was the first president of the Royal Society. Isaac Newton's book on planetary motion was delayed publication by a year because Pepys wanted to publish a book on fly fishing instead. But there was another guy called Robert Hooke. Hooke was great mates with Christopher Wren. Hooke came up with the construction of the dome of St Paul's Cathedral. It's not a true dome. There's a brick chimney underneath with a dome popped on top. And Hooke came up with the idea for it. Hooke built that. Hooke invented the iris diaphragm, which anybody who's ever used a camera will know what it is. That's that diaphragm that opens and closes in a camera. He invented the universal joint. He coined the term cell for biology. He postulated an idea on the origin of species and evolution 150 years before Darwin. He wrote the first ever book on microscopy, easy for you to say, called Micrographia. Boyle, he of the famous gas laws. Hooke designed the instruments for Boyle to do his gas laws. He has one law named after him, Hooke's law, the action of a spring. Nobody's heard of him. Nobody's heard of him.
Why is that?
A very good question. Why is that? Him and Newton weren't friends. There was a spat between him and Newton over who came up with the basis for the laws of planetary motion. Put simply, Newton said a planet would fall like that, and this is where he got to gravity. And he put an equation to describe its fall. And Hooke said, now that x should be squared. And he was right, allegedly. Newton was never prepared to give him credit for this. In the early 1700s, Sir Isaac Newton took over the presidency of the Royal Society, and every known record of Hooke's work disappeared. Newton would have been responsible for the repository of the Royal Society, including the only known portrait of the man. There is not a portrait of Robert Hooke, for a man who achieved so much, there is not a portrait of him anywhere. Now, I would never be so mischievous as to suggest that one of the greatest men of science in our history was so bitchy as to scrub his main opponent out of history, but there's certainly a lot of people who do think that. So, a villain who could have stopped the Great Fire of London, and a hero that hardly anybody has heard of. Next, we're going to talk about a young woman from my hometown.